All right, so on today's video, what we're gonna be doing is we're gonna be removing the transmission, which we are gonna remove the whole assembly as one whole unit. It's gonna make it a lot easier. There's no point. The car is gonna be going to the scrapyard anyway. So first what we have to do is we have to get the car up, and I'm gonna remove the flex plate bolts while it's in the air and mounted, so we don't have to do it while it's just sitting out here on a jig. After that, we're gonna strip down the car a little bit more. I'm gonna take the doors and everything that Jay wants over to JXB. Over the past weekend, I actually was working on the car a little bit to figure out the sport diff delete, and I actually got it deleted. So in probably the next video, or I'm gonna be going over that, Jay's car has the diff deleted, but it still has the error code. So we're gonna try to go over there and get that cleared once his car comes back. I think it's getting painted or powder coated right now. So we'll have footage of basically deleting the sport diff. So now that we have the car in the air, what we're gonna do is we need to remove the flex plate bolts because I wanna do it while it's on the lift. The car is missing the entire front end. So the easiest way that we can remove these bolts is just to lock the flex plate. So we just have a long straight pick. Just put the pick in, lock it so it doesn't go anywhere. You're gonna use the double wrench method to remove the bolt. Now after all the flex plate bolts are removed, we're gonna do is we're gonna drop the whole subframe out of the car with everything attached. It's gonna be the easiest way. I just wanted to do the flex plate while it's in the air. So basically what we're gonna do is to remove it, we remove the 4 bolts for the transmission. Everything else is disconnected. Make sure your shifter plate is disconnected. Obviously, like this really isn't an install video, so you have to, the circumstances for this is there's just nothing connected, so we can just drop the subframe. We're gonna remove all the bolts, and then we'll get the subframe on a cart that I went and got just to roll it out. Because I'd rather do the transmission on the ground than go get a transmission jack, lift it up all on here. I mean, I will eventually when we go do this, but for now, this is the easiest way. So we're gonna start getting into that. Okay, so now we are at JXB Performance. I am picking up a bunch of shifter upgrades for the car because if the transmission's out, I'm just gonna wanna do it while it's out and not try to do it while it's in the car. If the swap does not end up working in the car, I'm still gonna use this in my wagon. So I'm just gonna show what we have to do to make this fit. So right now, because this isn't really an upgrade that people are doing, since as far as I know, no one has done it. The only difference between the shift linkage between a B8 and a C7, like an OEM C7, is the stabilizing rod. It's a fixed link that basically just holds the plates and everything to the transmission so it doesn't move. So it doesn't allow it to do all the twisty stuff. Now, we found out that the C7 rod is actually shorter than Jay's stabilizer link. So we are gonna modify this. All you have to do is cut off the end. So we're gonna modify it and it should work. And then everything else, they're all B8 numbers. Here's well, that's 4GL, so that's not that's not a B8 number. This is 8KO, 8KO, 8KO. I can't see it. But generally speaking, everything is the same. So there might be small revisions. So we're gonna do his gated kit as well. I'll have to see if these are the same. They should be. It might be small variances. So now we are gonna get into cutting off this link arm. All right, so we have the bar installed. You might need to modify the end. It depends on the shifter, and for adjustments, there is a slot in here that allows it to fit. What we noticed the difference is the OEM one, the bracket was pretty much right dead center. And then once we lined it up, we were able to shove it all the way over to the end of the slider adjustment. And it turns out to be pretty much exactly lined up on this end. So from there, what we're gonna do is, I noticed there's a little differences on the shifter mounting plate. So this is actually a C7 part number for this one. And obviously this is a B8, but I noticed these two bolt holes right here are different. Now I don't know if on the body, if there's like a slapped out hole for adjustment. We'll find that out when we drop the transmission. But other than that, it should bolt right up. I mean, this is all B8 stuff, so we're gonna install this for now. To start out, we have the sliders, so they're billet sliders that he made. Goes on both sides. And then from there, you just take the plate, and now your plate's installed. So what this does is this stiffens up all the whole assembly, so when we're shifting, it is easier to shift. Now, since this is really easy to install, I'm gonna remove it. We're gonna put the short shift clamp on and all his gated parts to make this as notchy as possible. So to start that, we're gonna remove the bottom clamp, then you have to remove the ball out of here, and then you remove this big link arm across. To install this, we have to remove this bolts here. It's just two 10mm. Now there is an internal sleeve. The internal sleeve needs to be removed. This goes on here. Yeah, let's just, and then this one just goes on like so. To tighten these, because they have a nylon nut, you're just gonna get them till it's tight and then ever so slightly back it off. It should be locked. Gonna do the same for the top until it gets tight, and then back it off just a hair. All right, so now we're gonna install the other half of the gated kit. We got to remove the ball out of here, and then this link rod is going to be replaced by this one. There is an insert for the ball to tighten that up. So you're going to just remove the end. So that removes that. Remove the ball. Put a little grease in here. All right, so now that we're back at our shop, what we're gonna do is I'm gonna test fit this to make sure it bolts up. I was kind of curious because this had to be shortened, if it's actually gonna fit on there. So there is an adjustment slider in here. So we might have to, when it's in the car, just loosen that and adjust the slider. But other than that, we're just gonna install this. So we'll get to that now. Here we go. We now have all of his shifter stuff installed on the transmission. We don't know for sure yet for the linkage rod, what is the difference between the front wheel drive transmission and the all-wheel drive one. They are not the same exact transmission, so mounting points themselves might be different for that particular like stabilizing rod there. But there is enough adjustment on the slider itself that we won't know until it is in the car if it's either too short, too long. Right now we have it set back to basically the B8 stock. So essentially right now, if it is where the stock location is, then you just can use a B8 linkage. We do, like I said, we will not know though until it is up and in the car. Thank you for following along. Be sure to like and subscribe, and hope you're ready for the next one.